Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to everyone that sees this and everyone who doesn't. Hopefully 2021 is better than 2020. I'm ready to bury 2020. All the best. I'm experimenting with ground cover today. I've made all the basic elements of the cement plant, although there are many little details to go, such as conveyors between the various buildings. They use air conveyors for the most part. Everything's in a powder and they just blow it around. As near as I can tell, it's very hard. I've never actually been to the plant, but from what I can see on Google satellite view and also looking from the road, and I've stopped in the middle of the road a few times to look, it's pretty monochromatic. Hard to get this smoothed out. This is glue. It's glue and tile grout. Happen to have quite a bit of tile grout around. So I thought I would try it. I've seen other people use it successfully. I think I have a bag of darker color, which I'll probably put around the perimeter. This is just an experiment to see what it looks like. Probably should have ballasted this first. This particular section is going to be hard to see because it's covered up by a number of buildings. The main one is the office, which goes pretty much right here. It has a suicide door on the back, so if you step outside and don't look where you're going, you could get run over by a train. On the other hand, all the car movements and everything within the plant are quite slow. I had to select a new brush for my glue pot. The old one sort of got stuck in the glue. But the glue pot was perfectly salvageable. So I just put a new brush in there and pulled out the old glue, and now I have a new brush and the old glue pot, which is a Play-Doh container that I poked a hole in the top of, which has worked very well for some 6, 7, maybe 8 years. At least 7. I have to solder these wires. I replaced this piece of track when I put down the coal dump. But I've got several pieces I need to solder, so I'll do that all at once. But the droppers are there, ready to go when the time comes. I think I'll put some tape down for the rest of it. The rest of it, you'll be able to see the ballast a lot better. But the monochromatic color scheme going on here is, it's whites and very light grays and car tires in dust and things like that. This is where the heat is used. I couldn't really tell from the satellite view exactly where everything went, but I had a lot of fun making these up. This section is where the fire is, so it's rusty and gets very hot. And I've decided just to sort of tuck it in here as more visual noise than anything else. This goes approximately here. For the bulk conveyors, I'm going to use something like this. It's a little miniature representation of a bulk conveyor. I've painted the rollers and frames blue. I've sold some of those in the past. Don't know much about them, but in a current or in an old job in the very beginning of my career, I worked for an outfit that sold components, and that was one of the things we sold. So there'll be cars parked along here, and the smokestack goes over here at the end of the dust collectors, and they burn coal here. So every now and then a coal train, not a real long coal train, probably 8 cars, shows up, and I think they pulverize the coal and turn it into dust and burn it almost like it's a liquid for a very, very hot flame. I don't know how they keep it from blowing up, I have no idea. It must be a trick though. I believe this building is some sort of coal storage building. So there will be a conveyor from here up to here and then over to a spot on the top of the roof. If you can see that, let me see if you can see that. Well, not well. Bear with me. Yeah, there's the coal building right there. And the coal seems to go from the dumper, and it's a bottom dump system. See if I can get this up here without knocking everything off of it. Actually, the empty should be over here. So I'll bring some coal cars up here every now and then with a locomotive and drop them off. And I think they have a winching system to move them through this because they don't really burn that much coal. I don't know exactly, but I know that the coal trains are fairly rare occurrence. And they have their own cars, and they buy about 8 cars worth at a time. And that probably runs them a month. It's not like they're trying to feed a boiler. They're just using it almost like you would natural gas, except it's cheaper for some reason. The car filler goes right here. So these guys, these hoppers, they come up here and they empties go in there, get filled, then they come out the other side. And the locomotive that picks them up comes up through here, goes up there, pushes them down here, lets them go, goes back up there, comes back around, hooks on and takes off and takes them down there and then pushes them up to staging area for the long distance trains. A lot of pushing of trains goes on in Longmont, I've noticed. Sometimes you see them pushing 20, 30, 40 cars because they break trains in town. They break them in the middle of town, they pull ahead, and then they back down around and pick up whatever needs to leave the yard. And then they pull back around and then back up, hook up the train, and they leave again. All on the main line. It's a single track, and doesn't seem to be a problem for them. So that'll be very interesting. I did get my little NW7s running.